What is good? We're back. We got the back half of the draft here. We're going to talk about some of the third and fourth round kind of must draft guys, the values, what we like, what we don't like in the back half of the draft. Got the same squad if you joined us before. If not, I got my man Austin back in the saddle again. What's up, Austin? How you doing?
What's good, Casey? Happy to be here, man. Happy to be back on the FFD. Always good to talk rookies, you know?
Heck yeah. All right, Chev, what's up?
Do I have to say it?
Only if you want to, big dog.
Any day on this side of the dirt's a good one, brother. That's
right. All right, so we just did the first two rounds. This one we're going to do a little differently. We're going to kind of talk about the guys that we like, don't like in the back half of the third. We did do the mock, so we'll read the picks. We'll show you the picks, but we can kind of have a general discussion of the guys that we're really targeting and picking here. So at the 3-1, I had Jack Bech. Took that pick right off the rip. Was excited to do so. At the 3-2, who you got, Chev?
I did not appreciate you taking Jack Bech, even though I'm a notorious Bech hater. Jalen Milroe.
All right. And then at the 3-3, Austin, who you got?
I took Mason Taylor.
Nice value there. 3-4, I took Skattebo, again, value pick. 3-5, who you got, Chev?
Rashard Smith, my guy.
3-6, Austin, who you got?
Isaac Teslaa.
I think in every round, maybe people might call it a reach. I don't know. Is that a reach? We'll talk about it in a second. 307, I took Jaden Blue. 308, Chev, who'd you take?
Oh, Harold Fanning Jr.
To the Cleveland Browns. 3-9, who you got, Austin?
I took Devin Neal.
A fan favorite of ours. At 3-10, I took Jarquez Hunter. At 3-11, what you got for me, Chev?
Took Pat Bryant, noted Michael Thomas clone, Pat Bryant. Not me. That's not me that said that.
That's right.
It's not me that said that. Sean Payton.
3-12, Austin. Who'd you take?
Alec Ayomanor.
All right. So, boys, we get into the third round. We talked about it ending the end of the second round there. You can't cram them all in. I think there's going to be some spillage there. You know, some people, Royals, maybe on a lot of drafts is in the third. He was in the second in this one. So you could cram one more in there, whether that's Skattebo, Bech, or Milroe, or Taylor. Who are the guys in the third round? First of all, are you guys interested in trading into the third round? Or are you saying because there's some excitement, would you want to trade out of the third round? What do you think, Chev?
I'm all in to trade into the third and fourth round. Typically I'll wait until, we're getting into the middle of the nitty gritty just to see how it's kind of playing out. Because sometimes, most of the time, outside of, I think I've done 12 rookie drafts so far, Rashard Smith falls in most of them. The one that I did, he went at the 3-6 and that dude's being ridiculous. So I tried to trade for him and he wants a 26 first. So I had to tell him to climb Dick Mountain mouth first, but
be explicit on that one.
Well, I mean, you want 26 first for a 7th round pick, man.
Yeah,
that's what you get.
Yeah.
So but you can usually with Rashard Smith in particular, and that's my guy that I've been auto selecting because I believe in the talent and I got the perfect landing spot for him. So yeah, I'm trading into the third if I can. I'm trading into the fourth. If I have multiple fourths, I'll try to trade both of those to get into the back end of the third and just secure some of my guys here that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun guys here. How about you, Austin? Are you more inclined to trade in or out of the third because of just in this draft class?
I'd probably be much more inclined to trading in, man. There's a handful of guys that I really like, and we still have some really good draft capital from plenty of these guys too, man.
We'll pick and poke here. Okay. Bech, Milroe, and Taylor. I think we can kind of skip those guys in this conversation. And let's add. Actually, I do want to talk about Skattebo. Bech, Milroe, Taylor. I think most people they're kind of squeezed into the second. I think that's generally or kind of right around where they are, and I think most people don't mind those guys. I don't mind taking any of those guys. But all three of us decided to push Skattebo down to the 304. So are you guys out on Skattebo? Is this a round where you would take him? What are your general thoughts here on Skattebo, Austin?
So Skattebo in my rankings, I have him at the 302, right? So same range. I can't neglect the 1,700 rushing yards. I can't neglect the 21 rushing touchdowns. He's just a bowling ball, right? He won't go down on first contact. He looks slow as hell, man. I think his tape is so damn it's weird, man. It's exciting because he doesn't go down, but at the same time, I'm like, that's not going to fly in the NFL. And maybe I'm wrong, man. Maybe he proves me wrong. I do think Tyrone Tracy Jr. is going to be the one there, but I think he's going to kind of get kicked out to wide receiver like he played at Iowa for a little bit right before he transferred to Purdue. I think we're going to see Skattebo definitely into the rushing attempts. But you know what I found interesting about Skattebo? It was every single time they played some big dogs, right? Some of the ranked teams, whether it was KSU, whether it was Utah, whether it was Texas, ISU, it didn't matter, man. He crushed them, every single one of them. He showed up when it mattered most, and I admire that. I just thought it was very telling, right? So Skattebo, he's kind of. I almost can make an argument for why I'm in on him. I can make a pretty strong argument why I don't want to be in on him, but I thought it was kind of tough. He's rocking number 44, right? So I don't know.
The Henry Hynuski number there.
Yeah.
Is that what he was wearing?
Don't disrespect Ahmad Bradshaw in my face.
Ahmad Bradshaw, you're right.
Yep. Yeah, that's right.
No,
all right, Chev, go ahead.
I love everything that you said. The question is like, how does it translate? Because we know he's good at football. It's just, is he going to be good at football in the men's league? And my biggest question with Cam Skattebo comes in the form of, what do we expect from this offense? Like, what do you expect from this offense? Like, Tyrone Tracy finishes the RB25. We're just throwing him into the trash heap. Like, I know you said that he's going to move out to receiver. Like, it just, I have a hard time figuring out what that distribution is going to look like. I mean, Tyrone Tracy, I forget who it was. It said he was one of the most difficult players in the NFL to tackle. Fred Warner. Oh, recently paid Hall of Fame trajectory. Fred Warner said that Tyrone Tracy is really, really difficult to tackle. So we're not talking about a jag. We're not talking about slow. We're talking about like Tank Bigsby being back there, that I would be, no shade to Tank Bigsby. But
shots fired.
if we were talking about Tank Bigsby, I'd be like, okay, yeah, that's Cam Skattebo's job, because he does everything that Tank Bigsby does, probably better. So, but I'm not ready to throw away. The reason he got pushed down for me is because I'm not ready to throw away Tyrone Tracy just yet.
Yeah, no, same. I'm with you 100%. So I think we're all in agreement of kind of that's why we pushed him down there. You kind of touched on Brashard Smith as being one of your guys, Chev. Teslaa goes at 3.6, and he's somebody that sometimes doesn't even get drafted in drafts, or he's kind of all over the place. So is that a stamp saying that's an Austin Abbott, my guy?
Hey guys, be sure to give us a follow on the Twitters, Instagrams, and TikToks. Slide into those DMs and help us beat the algorithm up. Let's go. Back to the show.
Look, I shook his hand at the combine. All right, that's the only reason I got him here. Top 70 pick. Is that like? Nobody's talking about it, right? Top 70 pick is a top 70 pick, right? Draft capital was theirs. I know the production, man. It was definitely not as appealing as I would like it to be. I think consensus's big board, Teslaa was ranked 171st. So the fact that he went 70 tells you that the Detroit Lions front office was enamored with him. Brad Holmes, right, their general manager, he mentioned, I'll give you this. This is probably the most questioned pick that I had, but I would say Isaac Teslaa was my favorite wide receiver in the draft. I'm not saying he's the best wide receiver, but he's my favorite wide receiver in the draft. Yes, that was a direct quote from, again, Detroit Lions general manager, Brad Holmes. Just a kind of a wacky statement, right? You don't say that unless you look, man, his actions matched it. He actually did it, right? He drafted him. Yeah. So I think that maybe the rumors were true about Jameson Williams potentially leaving Detroit. We saw him, his name was being floated around about being traded on the clock, right, for the 2025 NFL draft. I don't know, man. Detroit moved their 3rd round pick in 2025 and both of their 2026 3rd round picks to get him to trade up, right? So I'm going to kind of just trust Brad Holmes here. I believe what he's built in Detroit, and I think Teslaa is very gifted. So,
yeah, it's certainly interesting. He's got quite the analytical profile there. So, Chev, what do you give me a couple more of your guys throughout this third here, whether you drafted them or not?
Obviously Devin Neal and Jarquez Hunter. Jarquez Hunter gets better draft capital than I anticipated. I thought for sure he was going to be a 5th or 6th round guy. Gets flip-flopped. Devin Neal ends up being the 6th round guy. But those have been 2 of my guys throughout the process. I'm obviously a little bit biased towards Auburn having a relationship with Coach Freeze and my wife graduating from there. So I followed Jarquez Hunter pretty well, and I've been impressed with him throughout the process. And then Devin Neal, from the moment that, I showed up on this show, we were talking about Devin Neal being the professional's professional, and I think that they're trying to find a way to spell Alvin Kamara. Not that he's a threat to the workload. Like Alvin Kamara is going to be a workhorse, pass catching, catch 65, 70 balls, whatever. But they're looking for a guy to spell him, and I think that guy's going to be Devin Neal. So that's tremendous value here. All throughout the pre-draft mocks that we were doing, he was like 2.5. Now he's pushed down to like 3.7, I believe he went here. Let me look. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 3.9. 3.9. Yeah. So, yeah, I think those are both tremendous values there.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've personally had a lot of success with guys that have been my guys and that just didn't do well in the combine and for whatever reason get pushed down. Whether it was, Kyron Williams, a few years ago, Bucky Irving, kind of last year, Devin Neal feels like that kind of guy this year. So I'm with you. The Hunter love is real. All the charts that are coming out now with Hunter that you see all over Twitter are very persuasive in saying how good Hunter is, and on this show in general, I think we all liked the Hunter tape. So I'm with you. I like the Neal and the Hunter. Blue's really interesting to me, man, just because there's an opportunity there. I just don't know who's going to be the guy. And with some explosive plays there, I think I took Blue instead of Neal. That was a hard one for me. I wish I would have taken Neal. I should have taken Neal. If I had it back, I might take Neal. But Blue Neal has an opportunity, I think, to solidify himself as the 2 there, and I think he will get some run there. But the big thing with Blue that attracted me to making that pick was just that the opportunity could really come calling, that he's the first back on the field come week 1 for Dallas, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So that's kind of interesting. Austin, who were some of your guys? Didn't have to be who you picked through the 3rd round here. Who else you like? You stamped Teslaa there a little bit. Anybody else?
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what. I'm surprised I'm saying this. Woody Marks really grew on me. I kind of view him. Chev, you're a big Woody Marks guy.
Oh, hates him.
No, he's the big Woody Marks guy.
Oh, I knew someone was. I think that between the landing spot in Houston, the production, right? Sure, he's 24 years old. I get it. I'm definitely someone who would prefer players to produce early, come out earlier. But there's no perfect formula. I almost view him in a way as Tyrone Tracy Jr. Just the fact that he came out so late. Like I think Tracy was literally 24, 25 during his rookie campaign, right? Mark's same exact thing. I could go on for a little bit about him. Another guy I just want to briefly touch on is Kyle Monangai, right, out of Rutgers, right? I kind of view like a Bilal Powell type of player comp for him, right? 5'8", 211. I think, man, I didn't see this draft capital coming. He goes round 7, pick 17, 233rd overall. Man, he's better than that. I'm just going to come out and say he's not a round 7 pick, right? I thought we were going to see day 3. I was praying to God for like round 4, probably round 5, and then he goes round 7. So it is what it is, right? It just felt like death, taxes, and Kyle Monangai going for 1,000 rushing yards, man. He just consistently produced for Rutgers. Every time they needed a big play too, he delivered every single time, man.
Yeah.
I just some big boy numbers, year after year. And between having this bolstered offense, awesome offensive line in Chicago and, DeAndre Swift kind of getting banged up here and there throughout his career. I think a lot makes sense for you to at least stash Kyle Monangai on your roster. So
yes.
It's really just Roschon Johnson who he's going to be fighting for the RB2 role. That's how I view it, at least.
Roschon or Monangai for the room. Who do you prefer?
Yeah.
Give me the fresh legs, man.
You too, Chef? Monangai over Roschon? Okay.
Yes. We talked about DeAndre Swift being marked safe from the 2025 NFL draft, and then they go and get Monangai, and I think Monangai could immediately usurp, Roschon Johnson for the role, like the goal line role. We know DeAndre Swift's not a great, physical short area back, so that opens up a role in and of itself. And I think that there's just an opportunity there that I don't feel like we're properly evaluating or valuing for just because he got 7th round draft capital. It's like, it's 7th round, but also like we could very easily be talking about him getting, 30 to 40% of the carries early.
Yeah. I mean, much like we've talked about Royals and Brashard Smith getting not great capital, but the sky's opening up and being like, damn, that's a good spot. Monangai got a really good spot that could be just running back haven, who everybody was salivating to any running back to go there, and nothing really happens. And now Monangai's free. Why the hell not? Right. And all Monangai did was have great 10-yard runs, right? His missed tackles forced, his contact balance, all that was through the roof. Shout out to Luigi Tendone, had him on, was a big Kyle Monangai fan. Make sure you go check out his YouTube channel. So also one quick follow-up. Did not see a Bilal Powell comp coming. I thought you'd be way too young for Bilal Powell. So
that was solid.
Was that a neck injury that got Bilal Powell?
I can't remember.
What'd you say?
I said, was it a neck injury that got Bilal Powell? Knocked him out for a while? I think so. We'll get our best guys on that. All right. So Pat Bryant and Eric Ayomanor go at the end of this 3rd round. You took Ayomanor, you took Bryant. Chev, are those your guys, or was that just like, hey, these guys are here, the cost seems appropriate, I'm going to take them? Chev, you go.
For me, it's Pat Bryant, the 74th overall pick. Then the immediate excitement from Sean Payton. Then you're looking at Courtland Sutton's contract beyond this year. I believe it's just void years, or he might be just a walk free agent after this. I can't remember. I get him and Mike Evans' contract mixed up. I think Mike Evans has all the void years. Courtland Sutton's just in a walk year.
I think you got that.
I think that, the opportunity here with him being a 74th overall pick, like those are guys that you plan on contributing to your team. So unless this dude can't play at all, which if you watch his film at Illinois, he can definitely play. There's no question about that. It's just that he's not an explosive athlete, but he's tough. He creates separation early in routes. I think that there's a path for him to be the Courtland Sutton replacement. So at the end of the 3rd round, getting a guy that's got day 2 draft capital feels amazing.
Bunch of void years on the Sutton contract, 26, 27, 28.
Okay.
So, and then, all right, same question to you, Austin. You took Ayomanor here. Is that somebody that's your guy, or was just felt like appropriate value there? Draft capital is good enough. Evaluation was good enough. Hey, I'm going to take him before a couple of these other guys, but it's just kind of ceremonious a little bit.
No, I wouldn't consider him my guy, right? I think that the value is there, at this point in the draft.
Gotcha. All right. For those listening on the pod, I'll run through the 4th round real quick, and then we can touch on a few more guys and get out of here. No, Diddy. 4-1, I took Shedeur Sanders. 4-2, Chev took Dylan Sampson. 4-3, Woody Marks from Austin. 4-4, DJ Giddens. 4-5, Taj Brooks. 4-6, Ollie Gordon. 4-7, Jordan James. 4-8, Torrey Horton Jr. 4-9, Monangai. 4-10, Ty Felton. 4-11, Oronde Gadsden. And 4-12, Will Howard there. So we've touched on Woody Marks. We've touched on Monangai. I like both of those guys a lot. Shedeur Sanders in the 4th round, to me, I don't know, man. I can't help myself. I'm going in as the same guy that I evaluated, who I liked in the back end of the 1st round. This thing's wide open. I don't know if Dylan Gabriel's going to take it or not. Joe Flacco's 105 years old, and Kenny Pickett's the only other guy standing in your way. I don't know, man. I'm super interested in trading in and grabbing me some Shedeur Sanders in the 4th round. Anybody, you guys out on Shedeur, or how are we feeling?
No, I mean, in the fourth round, you're just taking dart throws anyway. So, like, why not take a guy who is, you go back and look at mocks from, this period of time last year, or like right after the NFL draft last year, and it's like, oh, who's going to be the number one pick? So something clearly happened. I mean, I'm not out by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, by all accounts, he's been impressing people with his on-field performance. And so fourth round, you're dart throwing. You're hoping that these guys return any sort of value for you. So I'm not going to be upset with that by any stretch of the imagination.
Austin?
Want more access to the FFD without leaving YouTube? Sign up for a YouTube membership and get access to all the perks of a Patreon membership with ADP, Dynasty Rankings, our rookie draft kit, and extra shows every week, all through Discord. Hope to see you there.
Sanders thoughts or
Shedeur is the 401 in my rankings. Instead of Hard Knocks this year, can we just have Hard Knocks focus on the Cleveland Browns quarterback room? Like, I want to see Shedeur talk to Deshaun Watson and Flacco and Pickett and Gabriel, right? I think that would be some grade A content, man. But I was definitely lower than consensus on Shedeur initially, and now, post draft, it's probably the exact opposite, right? At this point, you got to take a stab right now.
Yeah, no, I'm interested. I think we see Shedeur Sanders start for Cleveland at some point this year, whether because of injury or I don't know. If Flacco goes in, I don't see them winning a whole lot of games. If Kenny Pickett goes in, I feel like they're going to get frustrated with Kenny Pickett. So then it's still in Gabriel or Shedeur. And I think back half of the season, I think you're going to see one of them, and I'm going to bet it's Shedeur. So I'm taking Shedeur. Dylan Sampson's a guy that I'm very interested in. It just seems like it could be a little limited, although Cleveland has done a good job of splitting up the run, even with Chubb being great. I mean, we've seen Chubb and Hunt. We've seen Chubb and Hunt again, and right. So what are we thinking about Dylan Sampson? Are we interested or just not really? Because I know, again, that's another guy had, mid-second throughout most of the draft process. And now, you can get him in the fourth round. Feels a little forgotten because we are excited about Quinshawn, but definitely operates differently.
Sorry, Chev, you go first. I got a bone to pick about this.
Go ahead.
Dude, if Dylan Gabriel was 6'4", 225, I swear on my life he would be going top 5 in the 2025 NFL draft. I swear he would be.
It's very possible.
I swear, man. I'm telling you.
And right-handed.
Okay, actually, that's another valid point. But I mean, like, second all time in college football history in passing yards.
Yeah.
Isn't he second all time in passing touchdowns as well? Got 81.9% adjusted completion percentage. Like, just silly, man. 13-1.
A lot of
led
ball.
Oregon. Just so good, man. You would think if you just saw how powerful his arm was, you watched the tape, you would think he's like 6'3", 6'4", but he's 5'11", 205,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't mind Gabriel at all. I think I like Shedeur a little more than him. I would have liked to see Gabriel go somewhere else. I thought Gabriel would be the 5th round pick.
Oh, he's tied for first all time passing touchdowns. Anybody know who's tied with him? 155 passing touchdowns in college football.
Cam Ward.
Who did you say?
Cam's got 157. Case Keenum's got 155.
Wait, Cam Ward?
Yeah.
You know what? The list probably wasn't including like Cam's 2 seasons. Wasn't it 2 years?
I think it was a year at Incarnate Word or 2 years.
Yeah. Yes. That's exactly what it was. All right. Disregard what I said.
I mean, it's fine though. I mean, it's still like it's a shit ton of touchdown passes is the point. You played a lot of football. You played a lot of good football.
Yeah. Thoughts on Dylan Sampson real quick, Chev, and then I got 1 or 2 more guys I want to talk about before we get out of here.
Little frustrated with the landing spot, but I mean, there could be a path. This is the problem though. The same problem that I have with the Giants that we mentioned is the same problem that I have with the Browns. Like in a shitty offense, there's not going to be enough to go around. Yeah. That's my problem. If it were a better offense and we were saying, hey, let's take 2 rookie backs and put them into let's say like the Dallas Cowboys, you'd be like, okay, I could see a path where they're creating touches kind of like they did for Tony Pollard. And then, Quinshon Judkins is the late stage Ezekiel Elliott hammer with a lot more juice. But this was a bottom 4 rushing offense. They averaged 94 yards a game, only had 8 rushing touchdowns total. So I don't really know. I don't know how it's going to happen for them.
Yeah. The difference for me is like Sampson better than Skattebo, and he's normally 2 rounds cheaper than Skattebo because Skattebo is typically going, like 2.9, 2.11 in a lot of super flex.
He got steamed up as we got into rookie, the heat of my rookie draft season is like he was going like 2.6, 2.5. Like it was up there. And I don't understand it, but that's not for me to understand.
Yeah. And then, I've been liking Jordan James through the process, goes to San Francisco. You can pretty much get him all day in the 4th round, worth a stab for me. And then, 2 guys you took, Chev, and I'm sure, you can comment on it, but Torrey Horton and Oronde Gadsden from 5th round players there, man. I think, those are 2 of the bigger shots I like taking. I mentioned it with Arroyo in the other episode. If you're listening on YouTube on the pod, this will probably be one episode. But Torrey Horton gives them somebody that they don't really have right.
Period.
So I think there's opportunity there. And then Oronde Gadsden, I mean, we have some tight ends there, but I mean, this is a bred wide receiver that can come out there and give you something that you don't have. And I feel like the Chargers are kind of low key excited about Oronde Gadsden, and he's been so cheap. We've been talking about him for quite a while here. So you want to touch on any of those guys before we wrap this up?
I mean, we've been pretty honest and bullish about our guys, and there's a role immediately for Torrey Horton to come in and contribute. He's got to beat out MVS and Jake Bobo.
Yeah.
Like let's be honest here. They're talking about Elijah Arroyo doing some X wide receiver stuff because he does have the route versatility and the athleticism. And, I think that very easily could, the actual X receiver could be Torrey Horton. He could be doing sacrificial X stuff, but
sure.
There's a chance that this hits. Yeah. There's a chance that this hits and it's free, man. So like same thing with Oronde Gadsden. You got to beat out Jack Conklin. Hey, great guy, solid pass catcher. Oronde Gadsden is in a different, he'd send that dude to the shadow realm if you're talking about pass catching chops as a tight end. Yeah. So I'm bullish on Oronde Gadsden, been bullish on Oronde Gadsden. Dave Kluge threw a tweet out there earlier today that said, the only 5th rounder, there's been 6 instances of 5th rounders putting up 180 fantasy points at the tight end position. George Kittle is 6 of them, and I think Dalton Schultz is the other one. I feel like we can add to that list if Oronde Gadsden gets a real opportunity.
I like it. All right, Austin, you gave us Marks and Monungai. Any other guys you want to give a little bit of love to before we head on out of here?
Anybody? Not that I'm necessarily bullish on him. Did we touch on Will Howard at all?
No.
Will,
floor is yours.
Just like something to think about. Right here, we are practically in June. I know Aaron Rodgers looks like he's going to sign, but you never know. And it feels like the cheapest potential QB1 that you could ever get. When I say QB1, I just mean like he's a top 32 starting quartherback. Like there's a world that exists where that happens this year, right? I'm not saying that he's going to be good when he's on the field. It's just these type of opportunities don't come around that often, right? And maybe there's a reason, right? 6th round pick. I'm just saying, if you look at the depth chart, right, that would be the argument. But I'm not bullish on him by any means. There's guys like Nick Nash or like Damian Martinez or, like those are some of the players that are even going like in this same range. Right. And I loved so much from Damian Martinez. The landing spot is so tough. I hate to be that guy, but behind Charbonnet, behind Ken Walker, it's tough to see, a clear path. At least, it might take a few injuries or it might take 2+ years. Right. But, there's definitely some good players down here, man. I mean, sure. Nick Nash goes as a UDFA, which I never understood. I didn't get it, man. The production was just too good. Like, why wouldn't someone take a day 3 stab at him? I do not understand NFL GMs half the time, I swear.
Yeah. Your boy Xavier Restrepo's down here getting a little bit of love right now. Savion Williams didn't get drafted in this particular draft here. I know a lot of weirdness going on with how he's going to get used and the situation that he's in, but I mean, that's a 3rd round draft pick right there. The hyphen, we've talked about him a few times in Washington. Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, late round pick where it's Eckler who's had some issues here and there, concussions and some other, and then Brian Robinson's also had a little bit of injuries, and depth chart's not super deep and hard to get through. And he's a guy who's had some good college production. Just he didn't see a whole lot of them last year, and he's a little old, so he's kind of an interesting late round guy. LaQuinn Allen in Jacksonville. I know it's busy over there, but I know a lot of people liked him. Anything else before we wrap up, Chev?
No, man. I think that, what Austin said regarding Will Howard is, I mean, it's something you really want to keep your eyes on. Usually the national championship winning quarterback, when he's got the type of mobility that Will Howard does, when he performed in the playoffs the way Will Howard does, those guys usually get steamed up the board quite a bit. So I'm not really sure what happened with Will Howard, but him landing in a potential opportunity here, which as of right now, he's just got to beat out Mason Rudolph. Aaron Rodgers is doing the whole attention, seeker thing that he does every fucking offseason. So we got to figure that out. But Will Howard, yes, at the end of your drafts, just take a flyer. It could be nothing. It costs you nothing, but he could immediately return value.
Yeah. I mean, you could end up seeing Kirk D. Cousins over there as well, but
Kirk needs to go home and be a family man. Just, reorganize his plaid shirts or whatever he's going to do. Go buy another Astro van or something. I kid. He was really good throwing the deep ball. He just can't move anymore.
Yeah. All right, boys. Appreciate it. Got a little 3rd and 4th round talk. Some must draft rookies, my guys in the later rounds here, if you will. Austin, tell us where we can find you on the Twitters.
Yeah, man. At Austin Abbott FF. That's where all my content is. I just put out the biggest project I've ever completed. That is my 2025 rookie draft guide, right? That includes top 50 rookie profiles, NFL combine results, advanced analytics, player comps, and, just my experience at the NFL combine and so much more. So I promise you it will provide immense value. You're going to be happy that you read it.
Shedeur Sanders.
That is me. I'm on the X Twitterverse. Go follow me. There's a link tree in my bio. You'll find all my work there. Also, download the League Champ app on the Google Store, Google Play, and the App Store. Is that right? Did I say it right? Yeah.
I think you got it.
You
got it. Make sure you go check that out. A lot of fun. Obviously, if you want more content from us, like, subscribe, follow, do all that stuff. 5-star review. You can check out the Patreon. All the things that I always say at the end, and I think there's actually a card for Jason, so I don't have to say it anymore. So, all right. Until next time, I'm Casey. That's Austin. We got Chev over there. We're the FFD. We'll catch you next time. Peace.